How's it going, everybody? I really like Existing, so that's why I wanted to show my support for it by buying some Existence merch. I found a store that specializes in Existence, and that was a mistake because turns out that's about the only thing they have going for them. But no matter, because cubing can fix everything. I can look at cubing merch, and that will be nowhere as near as bad as this Existence merch. Right? Buying and using merchandise is a fun and practical way to show your support for something, whether it be your favorite YouTuber, your favorite sports team, or your favorite hobby, like cubing. And the cubing merchandise scene is a bit weird. So today we're going to be looking at the various types of cubing merch and talking about why it's kind of weird. The way I see it, there's basically two kinds of cubing merch out there. There's the general Rubik's Cube stuff that's just like Rubik's Cubes, and there's the stuff that's like specific YouTubers or specific companies. For example, like a cubicle shirt or a Moyu bag or something of that nature. Basically, bad and good. First, let's talk about the general type of cubing merch that's just like general Rubik's Cube. The first and most obvious problem I think with this is that it's very blatantly obvious that it's a Rubik's Cube, and that maybe not be something that everyone wants to just shout out for everyone to hear, that, oh, I'm a nerdy weirdo who likes turning plastic toys as fast as possible. With something like this cubicle t-shirt, I'm supporting a cubing company, but it still looks like a nice shirt, and it's not like, oh, it's a Rubik's Cube. It's not necessarily obvious for some random stranger. I can wear this and people won't even like pay attention to it, but I still feel like I'm supporting a company. That's why I think the second type is better. Well, one of the reasons anyway. And the second type of reason I think often that the general cubing merch is kind of bad sometimes is that it's often made by companies that aren't even like cubing related, that just want to make some money. And that leads to errors that cubers notice and don't like, such as impossible states, wrong color schemes, etc., etc. This is not something that non-cubers would notice, but it definitely makes cubers mad, and this is also true for like Rubik's Cube cameos in like certain movies where it's a completely wrong color scheme or an impossible state, or like colors that definitely aren't even on the Rubik's Cube. And I still think it's a problem because cubers don't really want to show support for some random thing just because they're a cuber. Like, they want to support a specific company. They want to support, like, manufacturers or retailers or whatever. And they don't want to just be like, oh, here's this random shirt from Walmart. Oh, it has a Rubik's Cube on it, but it's wrong, but whatever. And another reason is that this type of cubing merch may not even be made by cubing companies. Another problem with it is that it basically is only like shirts. There's not other types of cubing merch such as a bag or even a keychain cube, which I qualify as cubing merch, which basically only cubing manufacturers make keychain cubes and cube bags. So it doesn't really serve much of a purpose other than a shirt. So those are all the reasons why I personally don't really think the general Rubik's Cube type of shirts and things like that are really that cool for cubers or like useful or practical. And it's much better to just get something that supports a specific cubing company or something of that nature. Well, I think a problem with the more subtle cubing merch that's from like specific companies is that like there's not really a lot of it. I think there should be more from companies and manufacturers to not just of shirts and everything, but also certain like practical items like bags or boxes or keychain cubes. Something things like that would be really cool to see more of. And we don't really see a lot of them in the cubing community just because cube manufacturers are usually focused on the cubes, which is perfectly fine, but they should spend some of their downtime making some like merch. And that's pretty much cubing merch as of now. We'll see what happens in the future. I don't really see a ton of things happening in the future with cubing merch other than the generic companies continuing to make generic cubing merch that has generic errors, and maybe the more specific cubing companies making some more than they have in the past, but that's about all I see happening. You know, I'm not so much a fan of existence anymore. Now I'm a fan of non-existence, so that's why I bought some merch for non-existence. And now check this out. This is really cool. I have this special hat. Put it on me. I turn invisible.